the high points were, I guess John Mayall was, when I was first finding my feet as a blues.
Eric Clapton is one of the world's most famous guitar players. He has amazed audiences around the globe with his beautiful playing and classic songs. But behind his quiet personality is someone who deeply loves and appreciates music. Throughout his long career, Clapton has always been open about admiring the musicians who helped shape his sound. Clapton once said he has always been a fan first and a musician second. He believes he is part of something much bigger than himself. Everything he plays comes from the music that moved him deeply. From early blues legends to rock pioneers, Clapton's musical loves have influenced countless guitarists who came after him. His appreciation isn't just casual listening, it's the foundation he built his entire legendary career on. These were musical love affairs that changed not just how he played, but rock music history itself. Here are the 6 bands that captured Eric Clapton's heart and soul. These are the musical acts that Clapton didn't just admire, but actively supported and promoted. These relationships defined his sound and show the true depth of what inspired him musically. The Muddy Waters Band. Clapton's deepest musical love began with the electric Chicago blues of Muddy Waters and his incredible band. This relationship would shape how Clapton approached the guitar for his entire career. The obsession started when Clapton was a teenager and first heard Muddy Waters recordings in the late 1950s. According to his autobiography, Clapton was so overwhelmed by the sound that he would sit for hours with his ear pressed against the speaker, trying to figure out every single note. Clapton said that when he first heard Muddy's band, it was like someone had opened a door to another world. Everything he thought he knew about music suddenly seemed unimportant. What really captured Clapton's attention was the raw emotional power of W's, Ader's band, especially the guitar work of Jimmy Rogers. During his early years with the Yardbirds, Clapton insisted the band learn Waters material. He told them this wasn't just music, it was truth. He believed that if they could capture even a small part of what Muddy's band did, they would have something real and authentic. The admiration became mutual when Clapton finally met his hero in the late 1960s. According to people who were there, Waters embraced Clapton like a son. He told onlookers that this boy might look like he was from another planet, but he played like he was born on the south side of Chicago. This approval became one of Clapton's most treasured validations. Clapton's devotion reached its peak when he produced and played on Waters' Hard Again album in 1977. During those recording sessions, Clapton was reportedly like an eager student despite his own fame. He told the recording engineer that he didn't come there to teach. He came to learn from the master. This collaboration represented the full-circle journey of Clapton's blues education. It confirmed what his fans already knew, that his heart would always belong first to Muddy Waters and authentic Chicago blues. The band. Clapton's deep connection with the band represents one of music's great mutual admiration societies. This relationship changed the direction of his career when he was at his commercial peak. The love affair began when Clapton first heard the band's Music from Big Pink album in 1968. While Cream was at the height of its popularity, Clapton was so moved by their rootsy, authentic approach that he immediately saw his own artistic future. Clapton said he listened to that album and knew Cream was finished. The band was making the music he wanted to make, honest music without the fireworks and ego. What particularly connected with Clapton was the band's commitment to serving the song rather than showing off individual skill. During his friendship with Robbie Robertson, Clapton confessed that they had saved him. He was drowning in technique and forgetting what music was actually for, to tell human stories in honest ways. The musical love was returned when the band invited Clapton to Woodstock to potentially join the group after he left Cream. Though he ultimately didn't join permanently, this invitation stands as one of the greatest what-ifs in rock history. Clapton later revealed there was a moment when he seriously considered disappearing into the band. That's how much he respected what they were doing. The artistic influence transformed Clapton's approach to music. After immersing himself in the band's style, he emerged with a stripped-down, more authentic sound in his solo work. He told his manager at the time that he didn't want to be a guitar hero anymore. The band showed him that you could move people more deeply with one perfect note than with 1,000 fast ones. The Allman Brothers Band. Clapton's connection with the Allman Brothers band represents one of rock's most influential musical friendships. This relationship pushed his playing to new emotional heights. The admiration began when Clapton first heard the Allman's early recordings in 1970. According to witnesses, he was immediately struck by Duane Allman's slide guitar work. He told friends that this guy might be the only guitarist who could make him nervous. The respect deepened when Allman contributed the iconic slide parts to Clapton's Layla sessions, creating what many consider rock's greatest guitar duets. What particularly moved Clapton was Allman's ability to blend technical brilliance with raw emotion. After seeing them perform live in 1971, Clapton told his road crew that this wasn't just a band, it was a force of nature. They had taken blues to places he never imagined it could go. The relationship went beyond professional admiration, particularly between Clapton and Duane Allman. During the Layla sessions, studio personnel described the two guitarists as brothers separated at birth, communicating through their instruments when words failed. After completing a particularly moving take, Clapton allegedly told producer Tom Dowd that he had played with a lot of great guitarists, but Duane didn't just play the guitar, he spoke through it. Duane's tragic death in 1971 devastated Clapton, who said to friends, "It was like losing his right arm." He later paid tribute to this musical friendship by frequently performing Allman Brothers material in his live shows and citing them as a primary influence on his decision to explore more improvisational approaches in his own music. The legacy of this mutual admiration continues today, with Clapton often telling interviewers that the Allmans didn't just influence his playing, they changed his understanding of what's possible when musicians truly connect on a spiritual level. Cream. In a rare instance of an artist openly admiring his own band, Clapton's respect for what Cream achieved represents his acknowledgement of a musical chemistry that even he couldn't fully explain. Though Clapton famously broke up the supergroup at the height of their commercial success, his appreciation for what Cream accomplished has only grown over time. In a 2005 interview, he reflected that Cream was like capturing lightning in a bottle. They were three musicians, with absolutely nothing in common, except an ability to create something larger than themselves when they played together. What particularly moved Clapton about Cream was the trio's uncanny ability to communicate musically despite their personal differences. During their 2005 reunion rehearsals, Clapton told sound engineers that the strange thing about this band was that they barely needed to speak. Even after all these years, there was a musical conversation that happened the moment they picked up their instruments. The artistic respect was especially evident in Clapton's appreciation for Jack Bruce's bass lines and Ginger Baker's complex drumming. According to a roadie who worked their reunion shows, during soundcheck, Clapton would often stop playing just to listen to his bandmates. Later, he would tell his guitar technician that most bands have a rhythm section, but they had two composers who happened to play bass and drums. He was just trying to keep up. Blind Faith. Clapton's brief but intense connection with Blind Faith showcases his lifelong search for the perfect musical partnership. This quest created one of rock's first supergroups. The admiration was evident from the beginning, with Clapton telling Steve Winwood during their initial jam sessions in 1968 that this was what he had been looking for since he picked up a guitar, someone who pushed him musically while understanding the soul of what they were trying to create. This mutual respect formed the foundation of a band that, despite its brief existence, profoundly impacted Clapton's musical trajectory. What particularly resonated with Clapton was Blind Faith's organic approach to writing songs. During recording sessions for their only album, engineers noted how Clapton would often watch Winwood with visible admiration. After Winwood completed a particularly moving vocal take, Clapton told producer Jimmy Miller that this wasn't singing, this was channeling something divine. Working with Steve reminded him why he did this in Thies, first place. The musical partnership transformed Clapton's playing, pushing him toward more nuanced expression over technical showmanship. According to session musicians present during recordings, Clapton would often abandon flashier guitar parts in favor of more complementary approaches. He would tell the band that with music this good, his job wasn't to show off, it was to support what was already there. Derek and the Dominoes, in perhaps his most emotionally charged musical love affair, Clapton's reverence for his own short-lived group, Derek and the Dominoes, reveals his appreciation for music born from both technical brilliance and personal pain. The admiration was evident from the band's formation in 1970, with Clapton telling the assembled musicians during early rehearsals that this wasn't just another project. This was the most honest music he had ever tried to make. According to studio personnel, Clapton approached these sessions with unusual vulnerability. He later told friends that with the Dominoes, he wasn't hiding behind anything. Not technique, not volume, not even his name. What particularly moved Clapton was the band's intuitive understanding of his emotional state during this turbulent period in his personal life. During the recording of Layla and Other Assorted Love Songs, producer Tom Dowd noted how the band seemed to anticipate Clapton's musical needs. After completing the title track, Clapton reportedly embraced pianist Bobby Whitlock, saying that he didn't just play what was asked for, he played what Clapton couldn't express himself. The musical chemistry achieved with this group became Clapton's benchmark for authentic expression. Throughout later decades, he would often reference the Dominoes when discussing artistic integrity with younger musicians. He would tell them that album wasn't made to be commercially successful or technically perfect. It was made because they had no choice but to express what they were feeling. Conclusion. From blues masters to his own legendary groups, Clapton's musical loves reveal the foundation of his iconic sound. Throughout his 6-decade career, he has remained both teacher and student, finding joy in the influences that shaped him. These relationships show that even the greatest musicians are built upon the work of those who came before them, and that true artistry comes from honest appreciation and authentic expression of what moves us most deeply. Clapton's story demonstrates that being influenced by others doesn't diminish your own creativity. It enhances it. By openly celebrating his musical loves, he created a legacy that continues to inspire new generations of musicians. His willingness to be vulnerable about his influences and to put the music before his ego has made him not just a great guitarist, but a great ambassador for the power of music to connect us all.